Do you think that we should stone people for wearing clothes of mixed cloth? No. That's in the Bible. That's in the Bible.
That's a misinterpretation of the old law.
It is not a misinterpretation.
This edition of the Ridley Report is brought to you by FreedomBookClub.com.
Well, it is a rally of sorts, with people probably on both sides of the issue showing up to demonstrate for and against.
To protest for and against New Hampshire's gay marriage law or civil union law. I'm really not sure which it is.
We're at Manchester City Hall in New Hampshire. And 5 minutes before the event starts, there's already about, I would say, 100 people here. Again, on both sides.
2010, so thank you for being here. It's the question of, do we as a people have the civil right to stand up and defend something as basic as the institution of marriage? This debate, we've heard a lot of name calling. I see in the back there are some people are holding signs talking about hate and things that don't belong out in the public as far as attacks on individuals. We have always stood up for the dignity of all persons. We have always stood up for the love and respect for all persons. We have always stood up for basic civility. On both sides of this debate, who may talk about hate and talk about discrimination, I have to say that being in California and seeing what happened once Proposition 8 passed, seeing donors targeted at their homes, receiving calls in the middle of the night saying, you donated to Proposition 8, we know where you live. Because we're doing something as basic, as common sense, as loving, as standing up for the idea that children deserve the chance to have both a mother and a father. Yeah. On them, something as fundamental as the definition of marriage. And all of us know, when you look at being told that it can no longer place, being told that it cannot place children for adoption simply because it's religious beliefs say that it cannot place children with same-sex of a man and a woman.
There are quite a few free staters at this event, adding a third opinion to this thing. Like Cassidy here, although actually she's, I think, more supporting the gay marriage position or civil unions position.
Stand by and accept this lie that there will be no supporters of redefining marriage. Do you believe that union of a man and a woman? That I will stand up for what every major culture knows like? Is this bigoted?
Yes!
We know. No, what do they say? Look at these signs. They say yes, that we're bigots. Now you take that idea and you put that idea under the power of the law. You embed that within the law. How can any of us be surprised that we will be treated as second-class citizens? Think about it. What they are arguing is that we are the same as racial bigots in the 1960s. Now each and every one hijacked by those who would use it to redefine marriage. It is not. It is not. And when in passage of Proposition 8, overwhelming numbers of African Americans voted yes.
I appreciate you being out here today. But vote, make sure they go to the polls to vote for elected, for officials who will uphold the definition of Brian Beecher.
I'm standing here with Amanda from Concord, who has brought sort of a third position to this debate. You've got a sign that says to privatize marriage. Tell me why.
Well, I phrase it like that just because it's I guess a clever, like a short way to say it, but really I just don't think that the government should be endorsing any particular marriage or issuing any license to get married. I used to be in favor of passing gay marriage rights and all that stuff, and my husband brought me around and said, hey, that's just, It's like if you ask the government for rights, you're really just admitting that they issue them. And that's not true. You know, we're born free. Everyone has the right to marry whoever they want. You can't just, you know, go around begging for, please, can I get married? You can't hand the
government the decision, yeah.
Yeah. It's not their decision, and they have no place sanctioning any particular marriage. It's not relevant to the government anyway. It can be religious, it can be a contractual thing. You know, whatever. Maybe you don't have a religion and it's just an agreement. It doesn't even have to be on paper.
So she's saying she thinks we should repeal all the election or all the marriage laws that the government has, and licensing. I'm standing here with Bruce. How do you say your last name?
McMahon.
McMahon from Brentwood, who is a state rep candidate.
Yes.
Correct. And you said you thought you were possibly the only Republican in that crowd opposing this rally. Tell me why.
Probably one of very few, if any extras were there, any more Republicans were there. I'm running on a platform of limited government, local government, individual liberty, and I believe a limited government is a government that doesn't have the power to tell you whom you can and cannot marry. It doesn't have the power to tell you you need to buy a certain kind of health insurance policy. It doesn't have the power to tell you what kind of light bulbs you can put in your house. It doesn't have the power to tell you what kind of trans fat foods you can eat for breakfast. If you want a nice greasy donut, that should be your choice. And that's my platform.
What about, I don't know if this is a legitimate concern or not, but it's just a question that I have, I think, about the bill, the laws, the new law anyway. Mm-hmm. Did it raise state expenditures any?
State expenditures, not that I know of. If they had to reprint some forms, paperwork for that, I don't know of any state expenditure issues with that bill.
All right, that would be my main question, and it was my main concern with it. But I just haven't, you know, having not read the bill, I don't know what the fiscal impact was expected to be, and I don't know what the real impact was. I just thought I'd ask folks what they knew.
Okay.
So. All right, well, do you think this will, I mean, it's going to be a relatively unusual position. Is it going to cause you any problems in the primary, do you think?
Well, I don't have a primary opponent in my district, and I'd be taking the same position. I'd be speaking out just the same way even if I did have a primary opponent. I do know I'm going against some of the people in my party in my town, and, you know, it's their choice, and the people will see what I have to say, and they'll be able to make a decision based on it. But I believe in letting the people know where I stand on every issue. I don't want to get voted into office and then 6 months later people start yelling at me because I'm voting a certain way. I want them to know what my principles are, and those principles are going to decide and guide my decision-making process as a state representative.
All right. Thanks, Bruce.
Okay.
I spoke briefly earlier about the threats to religious liberty that come through passage of same-sex marriage.
Does Oprah Winfrey's book club make you spew gnarly chunks? Wouldn't it be cool to have a pro-freedom book on the bestseller lists? FreedomBookClub.com invites you to participate in choosing the book of the month. Visit their website, choose from 4 finalists, then purchase their book of the month. FreedomBookClub.com. Making freedom a bestseller.